Good morning. Welcome to the Quantitative Methods in the Social Sciences Master's Program Virtual Open House for Fall 2019 here at Columbia University. Thank you for taking time to learn more about QMSS today. My name is Greg Eyrich. I'm the director of QMSS, and I've been the primary instructor for the program for the last 9 years. I'm so excited to be here today because I really truly believe that QMSS is one of the most unique and valuable master's programs that you can be a part of. We are an interdisciplinary program that takes the best of the social sciences like economics, sociology, psychology, political science, and statistics, and we distill that down into a course of study that provides cutting-edge training in quantitative methods applicable to almost any domain. And if you've happened to watch one of these videos from me from previous years, thank you. And you know that I'm going to talk about how I've seen over and over again, in just 1 year in our program, students have dramatically increased their quantitative skills and they've tremendously accelerated their career trajectories. But I have to tell you, this year is extra special for me and for QMSS since it's our 20th anniversary with the program. So the very first QMSS students started taking classes in the fall of 1999. And so we wanted to celebrate that. So we had a grand celebration this fall where dozens of QMSS alumni, some of whom graduated 10, 15, 20 years ago, returned to campus, and they talked about how critical their QMSS their careers. And they spoke so fondly of their time here, and they noted how they had looked out for QMSS students who came along since them. And they even hired them into jobs to work alongside them in their firms and their companies. And I just have to tell you, I was just so proud of what QMSS has been able to do and how lucky we have been to have such amazing students join our program for the last 20 years. And so it is as true today as it was back then that our students are very diverse, and they enter the program with differing levels of formal quantitative training and social science knowledge. But by the end of their time in our program, they have all learned a wide range of advanced statistical techniques and and data science methods, the kinds of techniques and methods that allow them to get jobs at places like Verizon, IBM, Wayfair, Slalom Consulting, the New York Times, E-Trade, Capital One, the United Nations, and so forth. Likewise, students learn the skills necessary to get into top PhD programs at places like Oxford and Duke, University of Chicago, and even Columbia itself. Now, we do all we can to make QMSS a highly valuable experience for all of our students. And we do all we can to make sure you leave the program with a large portfolio of projects that show that from day one, you can add value to employers and to academic departments. And this focus on results has allowed QMSS graduates to reach and often exceed their goals. And so at our live open house last week, we had current students and alumni speak about their experiences in the program, and I wish that you could have been there to hear all of them. They talked about how useful and flexible the program has been for them. They talked about how they really grew and changed in the program. Unfortunately, you are just stuck with me. But I wanted to at least share with you a few quotations from some of our recent alumni. To be clear, I didn't solicit any of these comments. They just sent me them in light of their experience with the program. Let me see if I can find them. There they are. I apologize. So I had one student who recently graduated who is working in banking, and then they sent me an email like this. I wanted to thank you for the most enlightening academic year I've had so far. I've been constantly amazed by your enthusiasm and dedication. I had an extraordinary experience at QMSS. I wanted to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of this program. I hope you have a great summer, and thank you for your time and devotion to each one of your students. We have another student who is working as a software engineer at a large established tech company in Silicon Valley, and she emailed me recently to tell me this. I wanted to send a quick email to share how the following topics you have been teaching have been helpful and tested for in the interview process for the data science roles I've been applying. So from your time series class, we dealt with difference in difference analysis. From advanced analytic technique class, regression discontinuity, propensity score matching, and instrumental variables, those were asked about. And I thought it would be helpful for you and the students to hear about a data science team within a tech company that highly values the concepts taught in these courses. Now, it's not just alumni, but others also recognize the value of our students. So I wanted to share with you an email we got from an employer at an office productivity tech startup, and she wrote to us, "Hi, I know it's been a while, but I wanted to reach out to you again about a new job posting. I had such great success the last time I posted in your newsletter, and I was wondering whether I could submit a new job. I'm now at a new company, and I'm hiring a number of roles across the data team. I would be so grateful if you were able to share these links to our postings." And I'm highly hopeful that we'll be able to connect this employer with one of our current students again. Now, another perspective comes from a manager at a specialized social networking tech company who hired one of our students as an intern. And so he wrote to me, "Your student was our data science intern over the summer. We were extremely pleased with her focus, dedication, and technical skills. She exceeded our expectations, and it was a joy to have her on our team." So those are the types of comments you love to get from employers about how the students are doing. And then I have one more comment from a recently graduated student who's now working for New York City. She writes, "Hi, Professor. I wanted to check in and let you know I've accepted a job working for the city. The job will involve a lot of data mining and some analysis and lots of reports on our findings. I'm super excited about the opportunity and know it would not have been possible without your guidance and support. I can never thank you enough for what QMSS has done for my future." So, how are we able to do all of this? How are we able to launch students on such new and exciting trajectories in their lives? How are we able to, in some ways, really change their lives? Well, first off, we've been doing this a long time. As I mentioned earlier, we've been doing this for 20 years. And so we've been training students in advanced data analysis, data science, and applied statistics all that time. We were founded by one of the leading statisticians in the world, Andrew Gelman, and that makes us one of the most established MA programs of its kind in the world. And we've developed a program which is highly flexible and highly interdisciplinary. The program's really organized around your interests and your goals. The flexibility means that you can take courses that you want to take. QMSS offers its own courses, which are uniquely suited for the needs of our MA students. We've designed them specifically for our students. And those are courses in things like Bayesian statistics, geographic information systems, time series and forecasting, advanced regression models. And we offer data science courses in data visualization, natural language processing, data mining, machine learning. We have a practicum on big data analysis. We have applied data science. We have a course in modern data structures, social network analysis. And these courses are all offered in R or in Python or often both. These courses are heavily attended by our own students because they're perfectly suited for their needs with faculty who want to teach our students. And we make sure that when you leave the program with the new skills and experiences that allow you to advance to the next level of your career. So a lot of that can happen through our own courses. And I often have to note that we have such an amazing group of faculty who teach these courses. And they're not just lecturers and full-time teachers and research scientists here at Columbia, but they're also adjunct faculty who are deeply committed to the mission of the program and really give a lot of themselves to it. They usually teach for us many, many times over many, many years. And they predominantly work as senior data scientists at a large firms and startups in the city. And we're really lucky to have them. They add so much to the program and really help connect us to what our students are going to be asked to do when they enter such kind of firms. Now, beyond that, we have unique relationships with the larger Columbia community to be able to offer a large range of courses from other programs and departments and schools. So we are a program, as I said, grounded in social sciences. So many of our students end up taking courses in cognate departments, so economics, psychology, political science, statistics, sociology, and so forth. But beyond that, students can take courses in other schools of the university, the business school, the School of Public Health, the School of Education, the School of Engineering, the School of International and Public Affairs, which is where I'm doing this from right now, and many other schools. So in any given year, our students take over 150 unique courses around the university. And we've developed very special courses of study in a few areas, in economics, in data science, and in experiments. And I'll talk a little more about those later. To offer maximum flexibility, we also offer our students the option to do QMSS part-time. So they continue to work while also taking courses here. And this is a great aspect of the program that we've had in place since we started 20 years ago. We love the part-time students within the program. We do all we can to accommodate them. They generally are able to be integrated into the overall cohort, and so they contribute a whole lot, and we hope they get a whole lot out of it as well. Now, I still have a number of other important features to tell you about our program, but probably the biggest additional asset of our program that I haven't really told you about yet are really the students themselves. The QMSS students are, simply put, amazing to be around, and it's my honor and privilege to teach them and learn from them, honestly, every day as well. The students are an incredibly diverse group of people. We have students from many disciplinary backgrounds, whether that's economics, public policy, political science, sociology, accounting, finance, international affairs, international relations, physics, computer science, math, marketing, you name it. And they come from dozens of countries around the world, which is fitting for a school like Columbia. And many of them have years of experience in different industries and sectors as well. What they all share in common, as I said, is they are really wonderful people. We really look to select for wonderful people within the program, and we're lucky enough to have been graced with such great people. They're willing to work really hard to learn, and they're willing to share with each other as well all the time. They share with me too, and that helps make the program stronger in lots of respects. And so being able to be around such amazing people day in and day out is an amazing opportunity for me, and I think for everyone who else is associated with the program. And you don't just have access to the current QMSS students, but you obviously have access to all of our past students. And again, those folks are tremendous individuals as well. Remember, because we're such an established MA program that specializes in applied statistics and data science, we have over 19 and a half years worth of alumni as part of our network. And so literally hundreds of proud, excited, successful, and loyal alumni are associated with QMSS. And I keep up with most of them, and a week doesn't go by where I don't get a job posting from an alum saying they would love to have a current QMSS student join their organization or firm. We had the reunion where they expressed that to us as well. There were hundreds of students who wished they could come back as alumni to campus, but unfortunately they're further afield in California, halfway around the world, wherever it might be. And so they sent their regrets and asked us to keep them updated on the program as well. And then one final thing, a new and exciting development that I have been mentioning in the last couple of years with regard to this is that I'm proud to say is still continuing, is that QMSS is increasingly at the intersection of social science and data science here at Columbia. I sit on the working group for computational social science, and I can see into all of the amazing work happening around data science at Columbia. And actually, QMSS students are quite sought after for data science projects and courses, and faculty reach out to me all the time wondering who we might have available that they could work with. And QMSS's focus on data science is reflected in the way that we teach our courses these days, with a very large coding component, though it's not meant to be overwhelming, and it's gentle and structured so that you can start anywhere and move through it. It's reflected in the courses that we're offering ourselves. Again, things like data visualization, natural language processing, data mining, applied data science, modern data structures, machine learning, practicum on big data analysis and social network analysis. This is reflected in the types of jobs that our most recent alumni are getting as well. As has been the case for the last couple of years, a great many of the recent reference calls that I do on behalf of our students have been for them to join data science teams at major firms and startups. And most of these students, again, are getting these jobs in data science by doing this data science focus that we offer, and choosing their courses wisely with regard to that. And in fact, if you were able to have come to our open house last week, you would see that all 4 of the alumni who were there, all of them have the title of data scientist right out of the program. One is doing it as data scientist at a hedge fund, one is a data scientist at a market research firm, one's a data scientist at a media company, and one's a data scientist at a financial tech or a fintech startup. So as I said, I'm extremely proud of the training that our students are getting and what sort of reception our students are finding in the larger job market. It's amazing to see, and I'm so happy for our students. So allow me to walk you a little bit through, a little more systematically, the overall design and logic of the program. So what is it you'd actually be doing if you came to QMSS? Let me start with the required courses for the program. And these are courses that all the students must take. And good news is there's only a handful of them, so you still have a lot of flexibility beyond it. The first course is a theory and methodology course, and this is essentially meant to get everyone on the same page. Given that we have students coming from so many different backgrounds, it's helpful to everybody to come to the same understanding about what social science research is like, what sort of questions you can answer quantitatively, and how to design research to produce meaningful answers and impact. So all of our students go through that in a series of small seminars, and they get to debate, they get to read critically, they get to write, and they actually write up a proposal for research that then they can potentially actualize over the course of the program. So it's a really great introduction for everyone to share. In addition, there's a research seminar course, which is one that I teach, where we get to bring in speakers from around the university and around the city to talk about how they use data. And so we bring in folks from all different departments, from economics, political science, psychology, but also different schools, like the School of Education, business school. And then beyond that, we also get to bring in alumni who themselves are very senior researchers at their firms, and so they can talk about work they do there. We also are just able to bring in other amazing people from New York City who are doing data science work as well, and they're amazingly generous to come in and talk. So it's a chance to really open your mind with regard to all the things you can do with data. Beyond that, there's a thesis course that you'll take in your final semester of QMSS, and this is sort of where it all comes together. It's a major accomplishment for our students to do a thesis, and they're really quite proud of it. It's frequently something that they are asked about on their interviews for jobs, and the ability to talk about taking an idea, developing it, collecting the data, organizing the data, deciding on the methods, producing the results, explaining the value and importance of what you're doing. Being able to say you've done all of that is an immense confidence boost to employers that the students that we're going to bring to them are able to do kind of anything that's thrown their way. So it's a really amazing opportunity for students to do that. It often becomes the basis for a writing sample for a PhD program. So it has a lot of outlets, and you'll get a chance to work with a faculty advisor who will look very carefully at your own research and your own project and give you meaningful feedback on it as well. And that can be anyone around the university, anyone at Columbia. So it's pretty fantastic that works that way. The last course is a data analysis requirement. That course is essentially a course to get us all on the same page with regard to regression analysis and econometrics. And so it's a great chance to use your own data. So I allow students to bring in any data that's relevant for them, whether it's from their job, whether it's from their research assistantship, whether it's from their undergraduate experience, whether it's data just that they're interested in working on. In all these different ways, they're allowed to bring in their own research, and you can essentially practice what you want to be doing while the course is happening. And so that adds a lot of value. Students really appreciate the ability to kind of make it their own. And so we try and do that as much as we can. We do have some more structured course plans available as well. They're built off of our special relationships that we have with a couple of departments and schools. So one is the economics focus. That course of study allows students to take most of their remaining courses within the economics department, things like microeconomics, macroeconomics, advanced econometrics, real analysis, game theory. And they also get access to a limited edition small seminars taught by the economics faculty as well. And as I've just mentioned, we also have a main focus in data science. And so at this point, all of our students are getting training in data science. But for those applicants who really want to learn the newest data science methods and the data science workflow, we have an even more exciting course for them to take. And as I said, over the past several years, we have built out a very robust and dynamic curriculum in data science, teaching very highly sought after courses like data mining, applied data science, modern data structures, NLP, data visualization, machine learning, and so forth. A number of these courses mirror courses that are taught at Columbia's Data Science Institute, but they reflect a social science focus that QMSS has come to be known for. And these courses are taught in either R or Python, and as I said, increasingly they're sort of taught in both, so you can kind of choose. A nice development this year was with regard to our practicum in large-scale data analysis. We were able to do that in partnership with the IBM data science team. And a number of our alumni work at IBM, and so they have generously agreed to oversee the project that was designed specifically for our students for this practicum. And it's been a lot of fun for students to have this view kind of directly into what an elite data science team looks like and how they function, and essentially be able to mirror that in their own studies. And so over and over again, QMS students who are able to use the data science focus really as a means to become data scientists. As always, QMSS maintains a very close working relationship with the Data Science Institute at Columbia. We've developed a number of strategic partnerships and valuable learning opportunities with them. And being part of the data science focus will certainly help students stay abreast of the latest initiatives and events in that space, many of which are open to anyone who's interested. Lastly, we have a focus in experiments, where students can learn how best to develop large-scale field experiments and online experiments that are used in marketing and market research and in other academic disciplines as well, like political science and economics. We have a lot of other resources designed to enhance your experience at QMSS, and I won't belabor all of them. Definitely check out the website. Definitely look at Columbia's website more generally. But probably the biggest additional opportunity is with regard to our research assistant program. That is a chance for students to do paid research assistantships with faculty here at Columbia and gain experience and seeing how a research project is done, gaining new skills in the process, being compensated for that time and effort. And so we typically have dozens of those, in any given year. I think we're at 30 already this year. There'll be more by the end of the year. And so it's a great opportunity for students to join with faculty and learn how the research process happens, especially if you're looking to go on for a PhD or considering that. That's a great thing to have at your disposal. So that's something to think about as well. Beyond that, many of our students work on internships. I mentioned one of those comments from the employers of one of our interns at the beginning of this conversation. And so they can do that for credit. And many of times those internships can lead to job offers, especially if you make a good impression like that student did. And so there's those sorts of things. There's tons of university workshops. And then there's all the things around the city as well. So being in New York City, you have an opportunity to go to hackathons, to different kinds of meetups that are related to data analysis and statistics and different fields by which data is utilized, whether finance or consulting or whatever. So there's so many things to do. And every week we highlight things that students could do, and it goes on and on and on for pages and pages and pages. So many things that you might possibly be able to take part in. At this time, I wanted to switch gears. I could keep talking about QMSS, and all the things we can offer indefinitely, but I wanted to take some questions that were raised either at the live open house last week or that were sent to us via email in previous times, and so it'll hopefully allow me to talk a little more about some things that might come up in your thoughts. So I have some of them here. Let me take a look. So I have a question here. It asks, can students that have interdisciplinary social science heavy backgrounds, but not as much quantitative training, apply to the program to develop their grounding in this area? And or can they demonstrate their experience and interest from previous coursework and research? That's a great question, and I think it's like a general question about kind of what do we look for in an applicant, what makes for a successful QMSS student. And the good news is we don't have any rigid standards with regard to that. We are very excited to have a diverse cohort, and so we are excited to take students that have a lot of social science background, but maybe haven't had necessarily the formal quantitative background or so we're very excited to have those students. We're also very excited to have students who may be more statistically oriented or computer science oriented, but they want to flesh that out in a lot of social science contexts with social science examples and maybe think about something else that they could be doing with regard to the tools that they may already have. So we can accommodate all of those things. And in terms of demonstrating that to us, the biggest thing for you to do is really to make clear why QMSS makes sense for you, what you're hoping to get out of the program. And if you communicate that to us, then we can, see whether or not that makes sense. And we would love to be able to make it make sense. And so you can talk about, why you are interested in quantitative methods and what you think that would do for you in terms of your career, in terms of your next steps, in terms of the larger goals that you have. And if you communicate that to us, that's the single best way to do that. We would get additional information from your recommenders and from your GRE scores to try and flesh out a full picture. But overall, you telling us why this program makes sense is the single best thing you can do. And we will read every application. I can tell you for sure that happens. And we take very seriously what's said in them. And we really do look at the applicants as individuals. And then because we really want to get the right sorts of students here that are going to flourish in the program and are going to help each other flourish in the program. So that's the best way to do it. Let me find some other questions here. How heavily are GRE scores weighted in the application process? And what's the lowest GRE or GPA that you will accept? Great question. Again, we are taking it in very holistically. So we're not looking for any magic number. We want to see some aptitude with regard to quantitative reasoning, since you're going to be doing a lot of that. But beyond that, we're really not looking for some sort of particular number. We're really looking for it to be in context of what else you are bringing and how that quantitative ability will be nurtured or fostered in the program. So, whatever scores you get, do the best you can, and we will consider your best scores with regard to that. In terms of GPA, the same thing. We know different majors and different schools have different, curves with regard to their GPAs. We are sensitive to that. We count it as a data point, but it's definitely not demonstrative of anything definitive. And so you can feel free to, contextualize your GPA, let us know how it stands. We also get understanding of your GPA from your recommenders, and so degree which your recommenders can contextualize it too. If there's something that happened or some set of courses that were uniquely difficult or whatever, you can let us know that as well. Again, we're looking for a full story of you, and so feel free to give us context around all of these data points that we're going to be looking at. That would be the best thing. I have a question here. It says, I have not maintained contact with any faculty from my undergraduate experience. because it was 11 years ago and can only provide professional references, is that going to be a substantial obstacle? Again, not necessarily, right? We are understanding that people's circumstances are different, especially because we like part-time students, some of whom may have worked substantially before applying. And so we understand that. What we do want to make sure is that you're prepared to be a student here at Columbia. And so we want to make sure that you are comfortable with what we're going to ask of you as a student. And so as long as your recommenders can speak to that, they can speak to your general research ability, your analytic thinking, your ability to write and communicate, your ability to work, collaborative with others, the ability to sort of get things done. Those are really super important for us to know and to hear from recommenders. And so we would obviously love to have some basis in your undergraduate or other graduate experience, but we understand sometimes that's not possible. At that point, we would rather have recommendations that can speak to you deeply. People who've worked with you a long time, those who have who know you, perhaps in an evaluative context as a boss or something. Those are really helpful things to do too. So please, do your best to sort of think of those who can speak to you or your academic skills directly, and if so, great. If not, that's okay too. We will work with what we have. It's definitely not an obstacle. We will kind of try and create a composite of your general academic aptitude based on whatever you provide us. Let's see what else. For students considering the part-time program option, how much flexibility is there to incorporate real work problems into the coursework? How hard is it to find classes in the evening? Great question. So in terms of classes in the evening, our own classes are predominantly in the evening at this rate. So we have classes every night of the week that you could take as a part-time student, so that's not a problem at all. There are lots of other programs that have evening-related courses across many of the schools. So there are definitely a lot of courses that would be available. Obviously, there's classes during the day as well that are going to be offered, and those might be harder for you to take if you can't come. We do sort of suggest that it's beneficial if you can have a discussion with your employer where perhaps they might be able to let you leave for a part of one day during the day to give you a bit more options. So you could kind of take a long lunch break or make up those hours in some other capacity. If you have a job that's flexible like that, and that would be fantastic, and it would give you more options. But even lacking in that, we've had folks who are in jobs where you cannot leave during the day, and they still manage to, find courses and do that as well. So obviously, the more flexibility you can bring to it, the better, but we've tried to build in a lot of flexibility. And absolutely, any required course within QMSS has an evening section that you can go to. So that's not a problem at all. In terms of incorporating your work into your studies, that's absolutely possible too. We've had many students write their theses based on work they were doing at their job, and it's frequently their employers are very happy about that, that they would be thinking about their job even while doing their course of study. So that's not an issue at all. We've dealt with that in many different capacities. So that's another option. Absolutely, go for it. There's a question about whether or not students can focus in the data science focus in QMSS if they have no computer science background. The data science focus that we've developed, which relies heavily on our own courses, it's absolutely possible to do. We've had students who've entered with only a bare minimum of exposure to coding, and they leave, getting data science jobs. So it happens over and over and over again. And if you're willing to put in the time and effort to gain that new skill set, we're happy to teach it to you in a way that's sort of fair, reasonable. It's going to give you confidence. It's going to give you a positive outlook on what you're learning. That we can definitely do. So that's an option for sure. It's something I think that we are sort of particularly focused on, and we have a really long track record of doing for people. So absolutely consider that an option as well. There's a question about what kind of career resources does QMSS have specifically? So again, when you're here at Columbia, you have access to amazing Columbia career resources. I was just talking with someone today who was just over talking with career counselors, and they had some great insights. So that's available for you, and that's fantastic. We also have our own career resources. We have a career panel coming up next week. I had alumni come back yesterday to class to talk about their experiences in their jobs. We have a newsletter that I was mentioning that employer knew about and was very excited to add to. We have jobs every week within that are very unique, that have specific QMSS connections, and so we're really excited to do that for you as well. So there's a lot of career opportunities and resources that we can deliver. We're doing a resume panel next week, a resume clinic next week, where we're going to review people's resumes and discuss how to make them stronger. So there's lots and lots of things along this way. We're very conscious of students being able to get their use their time here to prepare for whatever career they might want to do. Okay, I think we just have a couple more. There's a question here that says, I'm wondering about how this program would fit into my plans to pursue a PhD in sociology. And as I said, in any given cohort, we have a number of students who will pursue a PhD. Typically for a cohort, 10 to 15% of the cohort will go on for a PhD. Some will start right when they end this program. Some may work for a year or two before they go back to go for doctoral studies, but it's very common pathway for students to take. We have a lot of experience with regard to that. I'm writing recommendation letters as we speak for them for this upcoming year, and our students have had a great deal of success in terms of getting accepted into PhD programs. The types of skills that our students are learning here tend to be really valuable because they are innovative, cutting-edge statistical models and methods that can be of use to almost any research team in almost any discipline. And so we've had a lot of success with that. So if that's something you're interested in, between writing a thesis, being a research assistant, the skills you're learning, and so forth, you have a lot of ways of building up a really robust application, and we can help you with that for sure. Okay. Someone wants to know, can you describe a bit more about how the thesis part of the program works? How do I go about getting started and getting it finished? Again, the thesis is something that you can start thinking about upon entering, and as you start developing new skills and testing out different data structures, you can eventually settle on something, at which point you can get an advisor who will help you. Anyone you would like to reach out to, you can reach out to and see whether they're interested in advising. We have a thesis course where you'll get week in and week out advice and help moving it forward. So you have a number of supports along the way. And in the end, we really sort of want it to be something that's valuable to you and relevant for you, and something you want to talk about, in your applications or in your resume or in job interviews. And so we aim for that. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of students do theses, and they have all managed to do a really great job. But they've all made it their own. So I think it should be very doable. All right, I have a final question here. There's a question about how big of an emphasis is there on research under faculty supervision? Will I get a chance to work with Columbia faculty if I want to? And as I said, again, that's something that's definitely a possibility. Between the RA program and then just your own connections you can make here at Columbia between your courses and between whatever outreach you want to make, there's lots of opportunity to work under faculty and develop your research in a way that's productive for you. And so we will support that. We know previous faculty who have been willing to work with our students in the past, and so we have a decent sense of who would be very available for you to work with. So that should not be a problem either. I'm going to stop there with regard to questions. Again, we can keep going on and on and on. I encourage you to look at the website, look for other things, and you might get some other answers to questions as well. So I just wanted to close with a couple things. I wanted to first off thank you so much for spending all this time with me today. I hope what you've learned about QMSS will help you in making an informed decision about your future. And I would very much encourage you to apply if you feel that QMSS might be a good fit for you and your goals. So we have a really great track record of being able to get students to where they would like to be, regardless of where they've started from. So I would encourage you to give us an opportunity to do that, to see you and get to know you, and hopefully make a difference for you. And then the last thing I'll say is this. One of the things that I think makes QMSS so special is that we really do focus on each individual student. We get to know you. We really do take each student's needs and goals very seriously. And we work very hard to try and make QMSS a great place to learn and a place that will be like a wonderful part of our students' lives now and beyond. And so to that end, if you have any questions at all, do not hesitate to contact me or the QMSS staff about it. Email us at qmss@columbia.edu, and we are more than happy to help in any way we can. So with that, please reach out if we can be of help. Please apply. Get to know more about us. And I thank you so much for taking the time, and I wish you a great day.